50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow. Oh, my God. Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see.
Oh, welcome in everyone to a brand new edition of the Dream Wager. Today is Friday, September 27th, 2024. And E, welcome on in, kid. How you doing today?
You know, we're doing all right. Thursday night game, not the game that I anticipated, Dill, but let's get into it.
Yeah, Thursday night game between the Giants. It's wrapping up. We're recording this about 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and definitely not as surprised, or definitely not as anticipated. You thought it was going to be a blowout. And the moment I tried to get cute again and said, you know what, I might take the points again. The Giants are actually playing well. They're keeping them in the game. Daniel Jones, man, he's been driving. This is 3 weeks in a row now. Daniel Jones has been more than competent, I'll say. I think the play calling has been good from Brian Dable as well. He's getting the ball out quick. They couldn't run the ball here today, but, Malik Neighbors had over 100 yards. Wan'Dale Robinson had 11 catches as well. They might not win this game. Well, we got 3 minutes left, but Giants are very competitive.
Yeah, Dale. One thing people got to at least say, Daniel Jones is playing, pretty good. Take week one away. These last 3 weeks, still, he's been very impressive. Let's be honest. So far for today, the game is not over. He's 29 for 36, 281. Honestly, he got no touchdowns, but what's the most important thing? The 0 turnovers. Still, he's taking care of the ball. So I like the fact that he's spreading it around. And so, like you said, Malik got 115-12 receptions. Wan'Dale got 11-71. Look, Darius Slayton did get some targets. He only got 3 for 56, but you looked at him a couple times as well. The running game never really got going. Devin Singletary, give credit to Dallas. They came in as I think 30th or the worst team in rush defense yards per game deal, and they came in. And honestly, you gotta give credit to Pat Zimmer for assuring that side.
Yeah.
And then with Dallas on the opposite side, Dale, Dak is playing pretty damn well. Looking like he did in the second half of the Ravens game last week. Definitely came out firing all cylinders. Dallas did come out strong. CD, huge touchdown in the first. Jake Ferguson had himself a pretty good game as well. We saw Rico Dobb, get that touchdown deal. But the thing that's a little concerning to me is Giants defense ain't that, impressive. And the fact that Dallas wasn't able, get the running game going last week, wasn't really able to get the running game going because against the Saints. Another game where, you kind of, I'm not going to say in control, but you had to lead the whole game and wasn't really able to establish the run on a mediocre defense. Still, to me, that's a little concerning. If Dallas wants to be anything good, down the road, they have to establish the run, not just drop back, look for CD, look for Jake, look for Jalen, and look for Brandon Cooks.
All right, now, excuse me, Malik Neighbors is down. Trayvon Diggs hit him on the side of the field. Micah Parsons is now, he's going into the blue tent. He was down for about a minute, and now Micah Parsons is being carted off the field, shoe off, foot risen. I'll say this, kid, very undisciplined. Flag fest. I thought the game was going to go 4 fucking hours. There was 13 penalties in the first half. I go, put the flags away for a minute. Let the boys play. But to your point, this isn't new, though, E. They haven't been able to run the ball the whole year. So even against, I guess, a below average defense, and I think they're a little below average, but they weren't able to run the ball again this week. Are you worried that they just don't have the guy in the building and it might not be the offensive line? I think that's my biggest worry. I don't, as much as I love Zeke and Rico Dwaddle, they're not going to blow the house off with you. You know what I mean?
No, I think it's definitely that. Definitely one of the worst running back rooms as a unit in the NFL. I think Rico Dowdle is emerging as the RB1 for the team, but Dale, it's nothing really special. I said it in the offseason, this should have got Derrick Henry. To me, that was the match made in heaven. Tony Pollard was right, but he ended up signing in Tennessee. A lot of people criticize Dallas for not making any moves in the offseason. I criticize
They should
Dallas
have
for
got
not.
Derrick Henry.
They could have got multiple running backs. It was a ton on the market. Saquon. Let's just start with Saquon. The Eagles got him. They could have got Saquon as well.
What do you
So
think about maybe even keeping a guy like Tony Pollard, who's seeing success in Tennessee? Why didn't they keep him?
Dale,
It's just, I know you don't have the answer.
Yeah, maybe my opinion is their main focus was getting CD Lamb's contract and then getting that contract. And that's what ended up happening. So maybe that's what he wanted. He wanted to get Dak and CD under contract before the season started, and he was able to do so. Maybe getting a Derrick Henry, a Saquon, keeping a Tony Pollard, who did also get pretty good money. Maybe that wasn't in the bulletin board.
Yeah, and now it's looking like Malik Neighbors is walking back to the locker room as well. Everyone's getting hurt. 4th and 1.
Yeah, but
And they just come back.
Parsons was kind of hurt all game. He kind of was in and out
Yeah.
of possession. So, hopefully it's nothing too serious. We know he's a superstar in this league. So the fact that he got carted with his shoe was off though.
Yeah, his left foot. They said it's a left ankle injury.
Hopefully it's just a sprain. Yeah. 10 days off. Maybe he's good in 10 days, if not in 2 weeks.
I'll say this though, Dak played well. Dak played well, 22 for 27, 2 touchdowns for over 200 yards without any running game, which we just alluded to. I mean, CD had a good game, almost 100 yards, 7 carries for 98 yards. Jake Ferguson had 7 catches as well. I think both two things could be true. Yes, he played well, but there's still more out there. Against a defense as lackluster as the Giants, I expected at least 30 points. I expected another touchdown from Dak. So there's more out there. And I think that's what frustrates me looking at Dallas and their offense.
Yeah, as of right now, looking like Dallas is going to be 2-2. You're coming off, let's just say, 2 embarrassing home losses against the Saints and the Ravens. I understand you came back, made it interesting late, but you was getting embarrassed at one point against the Ravens at home. To me, you had to come out and just, make a statement. Today, as of right now, a statement wasn't made. And it's 2 minutes left. They're either going to run the clock out or kick a field goal. So once again,
2 minutes left. They just got to get a first down. The game is over at that point. But yeah, looking like Dallas will go to 2-2. Much needed win. I hate to say must win in week 3 or week 4, but they needed this. I mean, look at the schedule coming up for Dallas. It is not good. They have a tough schedule ahead of them. They go on the road against Pittsburgh, undefeated. Then they're home against Detroit, on the road back-to-back weeks against the 49ers, who at that point might be a little healthier, and then on the road against the Falcons, who have been playing better than the Cowboys, in my opinion. So, yeah, they got a tough schedule, and I think they needed to win this game on the road against an in-division rival. I'll say this, kid, you were right. I think you were right last year, and it's swifted over into this year. Brandon Aubrey is the best kicker in football. I mean, what this guy is insane, kid. I mean, and also Justin Tucker, he was the best kicker, but he missed 3-4 field goals already this season?
I'm pretty sure he missed all his 50 yards attempts with just 2.
That's just not like Justin Tucker.
40 something yarder. It ain't like it, Dill, but he also was great for a while. He was great for damn near a decade. So, let's just say if he's just a top 5 kicker for the rest of his career, still great. He's just not the best kicker in football. That's all.
No. I mean, what this guy did, he hit it from 63, 62, Brandon Aubrey before the half? Something like that.
I think it was 60 flat. 60 or 60.
Oh, 60 flat. Okay. But still, he hit 63 or 64, one shy away from Justin Tucker's record last week. Yeah, the kickers have been flourishing this year, kid. Mm-hmm. Not just him. I feel like a lot of kickers have been flourishing. So, for the prop wise,
look at the other side. The Giants kicker went 5 for 5. If you had him in your fantasy team, Shit.
Yes, sir. My boy Greg Joseph, 5 for 5. He hit a 52-yarder as well. He has all their points, kid.
Yeah,
All
that's what I'm
15
saying.
points. But as for props for this game, not good. I thought Daniel Jones was going to run in this game, but Brian Dable said, nope, the kid could still pass. And you see what he's able to do with some weapons around him and, smart decision making. I got to take an L on the rushing yards. And Malik Neighbors didn't get into the touchdown. He should have just took his yards at that point, but thought he was going to get in. And I like the price at plus 165. But yeah, 0-2, kid. Not a good start to week 4 for me.
Yeah, Dale. Right now, looking like I'm gonna get the cover at 4.5. I caught the early number.
Oh, you
It's,
got a great line.
yeah, even right now, I think they're gonna kick the field goal, Dale. And regardless if you got 5.5, you about to get the cover. And then I got Jalen Turber over 28.5. He is at 24 yards still, so it is what it is. Wish he would have got at least a couple more targets thrown his way. Brandon Cooks got a bunch. Jake Ferguson got a bunch. He ain't really get too many, but hey, we go 1-1 for the night, Dale. It's okay.
It's okay, but yeah, bad start to week 4 for me. Hopefully we can turn that around in just a little. But before we do, let's go on the game of the year this weekend between Georgia and Alabama. We got a great slate, and it's in Alabama. Alabama as a dog. Colorado catching 14 points. We got Duke, North Carolina as well. What do you like this week? You can start us off.
Yeah, let's start it off. Well, you want to just start at that game of the possibly game of the year, Bama,
Yeah,
Georgia.
let's do it.
Let's start it there, Dale. You know I had to take my Crimson Tide, Alabama at
Man.
home, dog of the weekend. Don't get me wrong, Georgia. I'm gonna say they definitely been impressive. I'm gonna give them that. They've been impressive. I'm not sure if they're still gonna be the powerhouse number 2 school after this weekend,
Wow.
but I'll give Alabama a shot. I think Milton has definitely been the better, more impressive quarterback so far. Don't get me wrong. I think Carson's is pretty damn great, but I think Milton in that offense is going to do enough to have the experience. And at home, I think Bama takes care of business. If this game was at Georgia, somewhere fancy, I don't know, though. But in Tallahassee, Bama roll Tide.
He just missed a field goal, Brandon Aubrey.
I know you missed it. 50 yards.
As soon as we give him his flowers, I jinxed it. Anybody watching this live, I jinxed that just now. I apologize. It's his first career miss, 50+ yards. Longest streak in the NFL was 16 straight. Yeah, that's on me, boy. Sorry. Real quick, I'll stay on this game. I'm gonna take Georgia on the money line minus 115. It does scare me. Alabama as a dog at home, catching points. That's never really a good sign. I like Kelvin DeBoer just because he doesn't know about this rival. He doesn't know how serious this is. But I think Jalen Milroe, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country, but I think that defense is going to travel. I think Kirby Smart is going to get the boys playing. I think, that tough win, only beating Kentucky by 1 or 2, kind of a look ahead spot for them. Really wasn't taking Kentucky serious. I think they're going to obviously get up for this game in Tuscaloosa. Go Dogs! Give me the Georgia Bulldogs minus 115. Should be a really good game though, kid. For my next play, a little earlier. That one is at 7:30, but I'll go back up. 3:30 on Saturday. Good game between Louisville and Notre Dame. Yeah, Notre Dame laying 6.5 in South Bend. Louisville +7. I'm gonna take the 7 here in the pocket with Louisville. I'm not sold on Notre Dame just yet. I still think that loss to Northern Illinois was very bad. And Louisville, I think the fans travel. It's not a tough drive from Louisville to Indiana. So I think they're going to have some fans there as well. And I like their offense. So I'm going to take Louisville plus the 7. I don't think Notre Dame blows this team out. Any more for you, kid? I got a couple more.
Yeah, Dale, let's go to Auburn. Oklahoma, OU taking on Auburn. Dale, this game is going to be interesting. But I'm going to take this short favorite. Give me Oklahoma on the road, minus 108. Don't get me wrong. I love our intro, Dale. I love our intro. But I think the Sooners take care of business. They walk out of Auburn 4-1. Dale, give me Oklahoma minus 110 on the money line.
Yeah, I took Oklahoma as well, minus 108. My thing is, tough situation. They're starting a rookie quarterback on the road against Auburn. Regardless of, I don't think Auburn's offense is good and they've struggled this season. This is a tough place to play in Auburn, but I think Oklahoma offensively, defensively as well, I think they're really
They're
going to stop
loaded.
Auburn. Yeah, so they move across the ball. Tough loss last week, but Oklahoma is a good team. So, yeah, I'm on that side as well. I know it's a tough environment, but I do like Oklahoma on the money line. Let's go to that Colorado game. UCF at home. It's going to be pouring. We got a hurricane over there, hit landfall. And remember last week when they hit the Hail Mary, it was raining out then. I think they play fine in the rain, the Buffalo. And my worry is UCF, they run the ball really well. I think they're top 5 in the country with run yards per game. But Colorado, they're going to be able to pass it along this secondary in UCF. They're not the best defense. I think Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter are going to have a field day. So think they could keep this one close. They might not win, but I do think their offense could keep them close. So I'll take the plus 14.5. I just think that's way too many points. Any others for you, Gid? I got 2 more.
You got 2 more, Dill. My last game is gonna be, I'm gonna keep attacking them, Dill. Florida State taking on SMU. SMU's at home, laying 6.5, Dill. I'm gonna lay the 6.5 for SMU. Like I said last week, FSU got me. It is what it is. This week, I think SMU gets the money right back in my pocket. Give me the minus 6.5 with SMU.
All right. My penultimate game, Duke and North Carolina. Duke 4-0. North Carolina coming in after getting absolutely hosed by James Madison. What did they put? 60-something on them? I'm coming right back, and I'm going to take North Carolina here. Best bounce back spot here. They got embarrassed. Mac Brown, legendary coach, went into the locker room and asked, do you guys want me to be your coach? I mean, that's insane. I think they're going to win outright here. I really don't believe in Duke. They really haven't played anyone. I'm going to take them on the money line. Keep the points in your pocket. Give me plus 115. Give me the Tar Heels on the money line. And then my last game, we'll go up to Happy Valley. Penn State hosting Illinois. Penn State laying 17, or I see 18s out there, laying 18 at home. Over-unders at 48 against the Fighting Illini. Did we watch the game last week? Please, because you and I were just talked about it. How is Brett Beanemill's team this much underdogs? 18 on the road? I mean, Penn State's good, but they're not 18-point favorites against this defense. I'm sorry. There's just no way. So taking the 18 points in my pocket. This defense travels. We saw what they were able to do against Dylan Raiola. And I'll say this. I criticize him, but the kid can play. The kid can play. But yeah, too many points. I think the defense travels. I know Penn State, tough environment. It's probably going to be a whiteout, which is a sick environment, but I think the Fighting Illini will show up. So yeah, I'm going to take the 18 in my pocket, kid. That's all I really have for college. Anything else you wanted to mention for college?
No, that's all, Dill. That's all.
Yeah, by the way, Thursday Night Football just concluded 20-15. Game goes under. And if you got Elvis's line, you did cover the 4.5. But before we get to the rest of week 4 plays, we'll talk about Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market. Hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted number 1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with the boys or a new flavor, coconut, watching NFL Sunday, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. Kid. We're across the pond. The Jets. I'll tell you this, though, right quick. If the Jets move to London, I'm done. I'm done. I can't do it. I can't have a fan. They sold on us. It's like which we'll talk about in a little, but it's like the Oakland Athletics moving. Maybe not that far, but it's a travesty. I can't. Would you ever root for a team that moves? Knowing you, I can't imagine you rooting for a team that moves. Oh, you're muted. My fault, kid.
It all depends. Still, if the Patriots moved, I'll probably still be a Patriots fan. I'm still a Nets fan. Nets moved from Jersey to Brooklyn. It's not a major move, still, but it's not like they're still at the Izod Center. So it all depends, realistically. Any of my teams, no, but it all depends.
All right. Let's start week 4 in Carolina. Carolina looking for 2 wins in a row. Bengals looking for their first win of the season. Adam Thielen is on IR, so hopefully the rookie Xavier Legette could get it going now. Bengals still favorites, -4.5 against Andy Dalton, -210 on the money line, +176 for the Panthers. Over under is at 47.5. Kid, can Carolina make it 2 in a row?
I give them a shot to realistically, though. That offense did look, pretty damn good. Andy Dalton came out firing. No, without even Adam did in the second half, the offense still looked fine. The running game got going. But honestly, Dill, I think the Cincinnati Bengals, if it's any team in the NFL due for a win, it's the Cincinnati Bengals, still. Tough loss last week, tough loss the week prior against the Chiefs, still. Realistically, I wouldn't lay it with Cincinnati just because how well Carolina offense looked last week. But I'd be tempted to, Dill. But my official play for this game will be T. Higgins over 52.5 receiving yards. That's my play. Joe Burrow looked at him multiple times last week. I think he looked just fine coming off the injury. I think he'll have a major impact in this game. But I think Cincinnati Bengals is the right side. I don't know about laying the 4.5 with them.
This is their chance, right? Like without Adam Thielen, like they need this game.
You can't start 0-4. I think
Yeah,
you win this game.
yeah, you have to. I would lean the Bengals laying the points here. Major letdown after a big win, emotional win for Andy Dalton. Coming back home, I think this is a good time to fade the Panthers. I would lay the 4.5, but official play Chase Brown, running back, over 28.5 yards for him. Line seems very low. He cleared this number in both of his games on just 4 and 7 carries. So and the way I feel like this game script is going to go, I feel like the Bengals are going to lean on the rush game, on the ground game, where Carolina can't really guard the run or defend the run. So I think they're going to really, with their two-headed monster with Zach Moss and Chase Brown, I think they're going to lean on the ground game a little bit. So over 28.5 yards, he doesn't need a ton of carries to hit this. So line seems a little small. So yeah, I'm going to take Chase Brown over 28.5 rushing yards. Let's go over to Jet Life. The New York Jets. Whoa, what?
No.
No, it is Jet Life. You can't say anything. They just lost there. And be honest, it looks better in green than blue. Does it not?
Nah, it looks good in blue. Dale, you can't front. It looks good in green. I'm not saying, but it looks good in blue. When I drive past, Jets, it looks good in blue.
It looks better in red. Jets laying 7.5 at home against the Denver Broncos, looking for another win in a row to make it 2. Jets looking to make it 3 in a row. Bo Nix, a little revenge spot here. Sean Payton and Zach Wilson game. Can they spoil it? I don't think Zach Wilson's going to get in the game, but what do you expect from here? Over under low total 39.5.
I you know what, Dale? I expect kind of what we saw last week. When we was in the building against the Patriots versus Jets. Still, I expect Bo Nix be able to move the ball a little more offensively. Not what we saw last week in Tampa, Dale. I think that was just great game plan for Sean Payton and Bo Nix executing, Dale. But I think this Jets defense is going to be a little more prepared for that. So I think the rookie will struggle. Still, realistically, I think it's gonna be a tough spot for him. Don't get me wrong, can Sean Payton dice y'all up? Possibly, I just don't expect Bo Nix to be able to do it 2 weeks in a row, especially against from Todd Bowles and then to your defense, still. So I think that's gonna be a tough task. To lay 7.5 points, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it, Dill. So I'm gonna tease the New York Jets down. I'm gonna tease your Jets down from 7.5 to 1.5 in a 6.2-way teaser.
Yeah, I smell blowout here. I really think we could blow these
See,
suckers out. I think
that's the emotion of the Jets fans
no,
right
I
there.
don't. No, I don't. I said it last year when we versed Sean Payton and we beat him with Zach Wilson. Now that we have Aaron Rodgers, we're rolling right now offensively. Yeah, they just lost who? They lost Alex Singleton for the season as well. A very good player on their defense. So yeah, they're struggling. Yeah, they have Patrick Surtain, but he can't stop everyone. So I spell blowout here. Stay away from the total, but official play Brandon Allen, excuse me, over 32.5 rushing yards each game. He's getting more and more volume. It seems like Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers trust him, and he's like naturally in the game script. There's first downs where you don't even see Brees Hall there sometimes. This kid is getting a lot of touches, and I think it's just going to go up. And I really don't see the Broncos offense having the success they had last week against our defense, if I'm being honest. So, like I said, the run defense just got hit with Alex Singleton being hurt. Patrick Surtain's going to be on Garrett Wilson for most of the game, so take away from our pass game. I think we're going to run the ball a lot this weekend. I think with Brees Hall, Braylon Allen, I think we're going to see a nice combination on the ground. So over 32.5 rushing yards, I think 6-7 attempts he could get there. So yeah, that's going to be my official play as well. But I do think the Jets are a good teaser spot to get them down to 1.5. Let's go to Atlanta. The Falcons will host the New Orleans Saints, looking to bounce back after a tough loss. Falcons looking to bounce back as well after, having that nice win against the Eagles, coming back, losing to Kansas City in prime time in a game that I thought they were very competitive in. Kind of a pick 'em. Atlanta minus 130 on the money line, home favorites, plus 110 for the New Orleans Saints. Over under is at 42.5. Which team bounces back, kid?
I think Atlanta bounces back, Dill. I think that was a tough loss last week on the Sunday night stage. We saw how bad the Saints looked offensively against let's just say a defense we don't believe too much in against the Eagles defense. Now you going on the road against a defense who you and I believe is pretty damn good. So I feel like if the offense struggled last week at home against Philly, I feel like that they will struggle just a tad on the road in Atlanta, Dill. So I'll lean Atlanta on the money line in this one. Maybe check my action come Sunday. Might just take Atlanta on the money line, Dill, because I do think they'll win this game. But you know what? I'm gonna take it though. Give me Atlanta Falcons on the money line minus 130. I do think they take care of business on Sunday. And then my other play on this game will be Darnell Mooney over 40.5 yards. I think this number is a little too short. Don't get me wrong. Well, it's 40 straight. Over 40 receiving yards. I think this number is just a little too short, just because we've seen in these past 2 weeks still Darnell Mooney looking like the number one for this team. Don't get me wrong. Drake London is the wide receiver one, but Kirk Cousins just maybe looking at Mooney a little more. Maybe he just has a little better connection as of right now with Mooney. Not sure what it is, but we've seen him go over this number a couple of times, and I think this number is a little too short. Give me over 40 receiving yards at minus 114.
Yeah, it seems a little small, especially, and it seems like Kirk Cousins trusts him, and they have a
Mm-hmm.
good connection within the first 3 weeks. I would lean Atlanta as well. Who do you trust more long term, Atlanta or New Orleans? Because I feel like Atlanta is the better team. They're just not playing as good as New Orleans.
Atlanta, though, just because they're built. Defensively, you got the veterans. You got Matthew Judon in the front. You got Jesse Bates. You got Simmons in the back end, Dill. They did what they needed to do. Now that offense. That's the thing, Dill. Defensively, the first 3 weeks of the season, they've been playing pretty good defense. Even in the loss against the Steelers, that was just field goals. It's not like they
Yeah.
let up, any big plays. And last week as well, they could have won that game. It wasn't like Patrick Mahomes diced them up. So I feel like the defense has been showing up. Offensively, that hasn't clicked. Bijan Robinson, just one touchdown all season. Haven't really seen any explosive plays from him. We seen Drake London emerging with a couple touchdowns still, but no really explosive plays. Kyle Pitts has a couple downfield plays still, but nothing really too consistent. You're like, oh yeah, Kyle Pitts is doing this thing. So I just need this offense to be more consistent week in and week out.
I agree. Let's go to the next game. Green Bay Packers hosting the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota looking to improve to 4-0. Home on their road dogs, plus 128 on the road. Green Bay lane 3, minus 152 on the money line. Over under is at 43.5. Now, money has come in on Minnesota. Green Bay opened up a 5-point favorite. It's come down to 3. Jordan Love is questionable. I don't know. We're recording this Thursday night into Friday, so I guess my opinion is I don't think Jordan Love will play. If he does, I don't think the line moves all that much, if I'm being honest. But Malik Willis, man, he's won 2 in a row. Can't start doubting this kid anymore. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, Dale. If this was later on the season, I'll say this is like a must win. Definitely have Jordan Love in there just because Minnesota's undefeated right now. But it's early on. If I'm the general manager, if I'm the head coach, I'll let Jordan Love take the extra week off just to make sure he comes back at 100%. Because this Minnesota team, as of right now, they're rolling. And why throw my quarterback behind that if he's not 100% at least? So
Yeah.
I do agree with you that I think Jordan Love will be ruled out maybe come Saturday evening or morning or something like that. Highly doubt they'll wait till Sunday. I don't think Malik Willis can win this game. He won 2 games and give credit to him. He played definitely better against Tennessee than he did his first start. But against this red hot Minnesota team who seems like their defense is playing better than the offense, and that's crazy for me to say because their offense is playing at a high level, Dill. I think this is a tough game for Malik Willis to win. So I think I'll lean Minnesota, but my official play in this game will be a revenge spot deal. Give me Aaron Jones, anytime
Oh.
touchdown plus 127. Give me Aaron Jones over 57 yards rushing deal at minus 121. I feel like this number is too short, and that plus 127 anytime touchdown. I think Kevin O'Connell will make at least a couple plays for him to get in there.
I love it. I love the anytime touchdown because I do think he could have a big game coming back into Green Bay.
At Green
And
Bay. That's
yeah, at Green Bay, that's the thing. I think he's gonna Lambeau leap it too. I think he's gonna have himself a field day. So that is a good call. I'll say this though. I do think Malik Willis can win this game. And the reason we've seen it. First game, he ran the ball, really didn't turn it over, didn't take a lot of chances. Second game, kind of showed off his arm a little bit too. Say, hey, I could throw the ball too a little bit. Didn't turn the ball over either. Excuse me. And with Matt LaFleur calling the plays, I think he's going to be in a very good situation where they won't ask him to do too much. So I think he can win. The reason I don't want Jordan Love to come back in this is a tough spot against a really good defense. Brian Flores has been dicing teams up recently. So I think this would be a tough spot for him to come back in the first week. So that's why I think Malik Willis can win this game. But it would have surprised me if Minnesota goes out there and wins and starts 4-0. They are legit. Let's go to the next game. Houston Texans facing at home, hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Houston Texans laying 6.5 at home. Jaguars plus 215 on the money line. Over under is at 45.5. Another team 0-3. Okay, do they start 0-4?
I think so. Just because I think Houston is gonna bounce back. Tough loss last week against Minnesota at Minnesota. The offense honestly struggled against Brian Flores and that defense, and I think CJ in that loaded offense is gonna come out and just make a statement, show that they're still top dog, still a team to be reckoned with. And this Jacksonville team, Dill, honestly, I don't know what to expect. I expect them to come out with fire, but is that going to lead to a win? I'm not sure, Dill. If 0-3 doesn't make you come out and make you want to, run through a wall and put up points on the board, get this win, I don't know what will. So I'm gonna play it safe, just because I expect Dougie P to get the boys running. I expect Trevor Lawrence to at least attempt to play at his best and no Joe Mix. As of right now, I'm not sure if he's going to be ruled out. But
I
it
don't
looks
think
like
he plays. I don't
I
think he
don't think
plays.
I don't think Joe Mixon plays either. We saw how well this offense was with Joe Mixon there last week. Struggled a little bit, but I'm gonna give that credit to Brian Flores. So with that being said, I'm gonna just tease down Houston though. So that's my two-way teaser. Houston Texans with the with your New York Jets. You're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a tough spot, I think, for everyone is on Houston, which is my problem. Everyone is on Houston. I do think it's a good spot for them to bounce back against, I guess, just an offense that just seems to be out of rhythm. I got two player props for Houston. CJ Stroud over, it's at 8.5, but I got it at 7.5. Over 8.5 rushing yards for CJ Stroud. He's been over this line 2 of 3 games this season, 9 of 15 going back to last season, including both games against Jacksonville as well. You know, they do a lot of man-to-man coverage, the highest rate, which typically leads to more scrambles. So, you know, he is fast. I think there's some design runs as well. Watson had 8 yards. Tua had 11 yards. I think he could get over 7.5 yards. I think he's more than athletic enough to scramble out of the pocket for 8 yards. So, yeah, CJ Stroud over 7.5 yards. And then I'm going to go his favorite receiver, Nico Collins, over 71.5 yards. Jacksonville's secondary is banged up. Their best corner cover, Tyson Campbell, he's out. He's on the IR. They're allowing 179 wide receiver yards per game, 6th most in the NFL. And they're just getting torched by the deep ball. Every week, it seems like the Bills are beating them downfield. It seems like every team is just beating them downfield. We saw it against Miami as well. So I don't know. I just think Nico Collins is their deep threat. He has a great connection with CJ Stroud. So over 71.5 yards seems very obtainable against the banged up secondary. So that's how I would play this game. Let's go to the next one. Indianapolis Colts hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Indianapolis Colts home puppies plus 108. Pittsburgh minus 124 on the money line. Short favorites on the road. Over under is at 39.5. You know, this is another very winnable game for Justin Fields. You know, there's 3-0 right now, going on the road against, you know, I would say the defense before the season I thought had potential, but the defense hasn't been playing well. You know, DeForest Buckner being hurt, I think hurts this defense as well. So what do you see? Can Justin Fields start 4-0?
First of all, I'm surprised I'm gonna say this. Put a little more respect on Justin Fields' name. Don't say
Thank you.
another winnable game for Justin. It's a winnable game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Still, you know, I think they showed enough that they're for real. That defense is for real. Definitely a top 5 defense. And what has the coach showed you? You know, I think they got lucky last week against, let's just say, a young, you know, Bears
Chicago team. Yeah.
You know, I think Caleb Williams, if he was just 8 weeks in, I think he takes care of business there. Anthony Richardson, let's just say, he's been more of a project than a development so far. You know, Jonathan Taylor's been running the ball a little better. It's definitely weeks 2 and 3. Defensively, like you said, hasn't been at the level they were last year. Michael Pittman Jr. has been, I'm gonna just say, just a disappointing so far, just because him and Anthony Richardson hasn't really been clicking. Still, I just don't see this offense. Don't get me wrong, Pittsburgh Steelers offense, I don't expect much either. But I don't expect Anthony Richardson in that offense to get it going against that Pittsburgh defense. We saw Kirk Cousins struggle a little bit against that defense. We saw last week one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL, Justin Herbert, struggle against that defense still. So I just don't see Anthony Richardson having success. You know, maybe he can have a couple good plays here and there, but have himself a collectively good game against this defense, I just don't see it. Justin Fields has been good enough. The running game has been going. George Pickens make the big plays when needed. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers on the money line. They will be 4-0.
Who would have thought the first month of the season Justin Fields is out here?
Yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Oh my God.
I didn't think that. I did say
No.
make the playoffs and go over, but not this.
You might get there. You might get there relatively quick. What was it? 8.5, 7.5, something like that.
8.5. I was like,
Yeah.
bro, he's gonna go 9-7. He's gonna go have a winning season.
He might be better than that.
He is. He won 11 last year with with Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph.
No, they're doing it without Russ. They don't even need Russ. This is hilarious. Imagine he keeps the starting job the whole season. That would be hilarious. I agree. I do think they'll win this game just because I don't trust Anthony. Is Anthony Richardson the worst quarterback in the league?
Yo, chill.
Who's worse than him? Now that Bryce Young is not starting, who's the worst quarterback?
Caleb Williams. He's
No
been
way.
worse. I'm not saying
No. Caleb Williams outplayed him. He didn't win, but he outplayed him. The numbers were better.
Skylar Thompson, Trevor Lawrence.
I
Levis.
think.
Come on, Dill. Let's be real, Dill.
I would say Trevor Lawrence has played. I'm not a Trevor Lawrence fan, but I would say he played better.
Played better. He is,
and it's Tyler Huntley making the start this week, I think, for Miami.
It's still
Skylar Thompson. That's a Pro Bowler now.
I understand.
That's a Pro Bowler now.
You know, definitely Will Levis. I'm gonna throw Jacoby Brissett in there as well.
That's okay. That's fair. Okay, yeah, you're right. I forgot about Jacoby. Will Levis, you had a lot of hope for that kid, but he hasn't played well.
He's played He's played good. He's just made about 4 to 5 really, really bonehead decisions. He doesn't.
You can't get over that.
Yeah, he just needs the ball instead of trying to underthrow it to his receiver against Chicago. They win that game. He instead of throwing it back to his running back, instead of just taking a sack against the Jets, I'm not saying they win the game, but it's closer than what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just thought, all right, if he's not the worst, he's definitely top 5.
Yeah, he's played.
Yeah.
Will Levis played worse than him. I'm not saying Andy Richardson.
Yeah, that's fair.
Better,
that's fair.
But he's been better this year. That's all.
The way I'm going to attack this game, I agree with you. I do like Steelers. I think they are the right side. I'm going to take George Pickens over his receiving yards. I think he's really flourished this season without DeAndre Johnson there now. He's averaging 50 yards per game, 2 of the last 3 games. He had a great game against the Broncos where, he was covered by an elite corner, top 5 corner, maybe the best corner who he's getting paid like in Patrick Surtain. And, in a script where I thought they were going to run the ball, but he had a really good game. So in a secondary where I really don't trust, over 49.5 yards. I know they don't throw the ball like that, but Justin Fields is going to get him the ball. So over 49.5 receiving yards for George Pickens. Let's go to the next game. Got a couple more. Bears hosting the LA Rams. Bears laying 3 at home. Very surprising, I thought. Bears being favorites at home. Minus 156. Los Angeles Rams plus 132 on the money line. Over under is at 40.5. Now, LA's coming back from that amazing comeback from behind win against the 49ers. Bears, they started 1-0. Now they lost 2-0, but signs have been better. Caleb Williams is getting better every game. I will say that. Offense, Roma Dunze looks good finally. It's the offensive line. We'll see. I'm surprised Bears are favorite, kid. I'm being honest here.
Yeah, I'm shocked the Bears are favorite just because we've seen just last week the Rams come back on a double-digit deficit and come back and win the game. I understand they're 1-2 at the moment. They're riddled with injuries, but still, at the end of the day, still one of the best teams in football, and the 49ers still. I just don't understand. Don't get me wrong. Chicago's defense has been the best part of this team so far. But I just don't understand how you're a favorite when a non-existent running game. Is Caleb Williams going to go out there and throw for 300 plus yards? Still dominate time of possession? I just don't think so. Dale. Defensively, Chicago could do some things to just rough up Matthew Stafford, but I don't think that'll be enough. I think we see another close game, possibly like we saw Chicago versus Houston a couple weeks ago, something like that, or even last week with the Colts. Still, I say a low scoring affair. I say Rams walk out with a victory. I'm gonna say 20-16 Rams.
Love it. So you got the under too. So I agree with the total.
I don't expect much.
Yeah. As much as I root for the Bears, I can't take them, kid. I really can't. I'm going to take a player prop here. I'm going to take DeAndre Swift, and I'm going to fade him under 55.5 combo receiving and rushing yards. I mean, that line is just too high, kid. He's under this in all 3 games to start the season. He's averaging 1.8 yards per catch. He's looked awful. I mean, he's looked awful. The offensive line has looked awful. He has been more productive in the passing game, but the Rams have locked down the passing game. Their secondaries actually looked pretty good to start the season. And his snap count has gotten down, it's decreased every game. Started with 70% game 1, then it was down to 66, and then last game he was only in the game for 53% of the snaps. His snap count is trending downwards. So I love this. Under 55.5 rushing and receiving. Where's that coming from? Like, he can't run the ball. And yeah, he catches the ball a little more, but I really don't trust DeAndre Swift.
Unless he busts a screen deal, I just don't see it happening. I like that play. So
yeah,
my official play in this game would be the +3 with the Rams. I do think they're live on the money line as well. And then it's a little up there now, but I think after a 3 touchdown performance last week, I think the Rams will try to, dominate the ball. Time of possession, run the ball with Kerry Williams. I think Kerry Williams anytime touchdown at -146. I love it. If anything, put it in a parlay. But to bet $1.50 straight up, I want to do it. But Kerry Williams anytime touchdown and Rams +3.
I like it, especially down in the red zone. I do think Sean McVay will play it close to the chest and lean on the run game a little without their 2-star receivers. Let's go to the next game, kid. Last one on the 1:00 window. We'll go down to Tampa Bay. Category 4 hurricane, but hopefully this should be good by game time. Philadelphia Eagles on the road taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Eagles road favorite, short on the books, -118 on the money line, +100 for the Buccaneers. Over under is at 42.5. Tough physical win on the road in New Orleans. Now back-to-back road spots. I usually don't like to back teams with back-to-back road spots. Tampa looks like this could be a get-right spot for them. Tough loss in their last game against Denver, in a game where we all thought, Tampa Bay should have ran away with. In a pick'em, totals at 42.5, kid. How do you split these two teams up?
Realistically, I think I'm going to lean with Tampa in this one. I have no official play just yet. I want to see what's this going to be the status with Devontae Smith. As of right now, that's a question mark.
I don't think he plays. He has a concussion.
Yeah. If there's no Devontae Smith deal, I think I'm going to go with Tampa with the bounce back deal. I think Tampa will be live dogs this weekend. If anything, they might be my dog of the weekend. Maybe check my ass should come Sunday deal by dueling Tampa on the money line. I just feel like if without Smith there, I just feel like where the offense is going to come from. We saw Dallas Goedert give a Hercules effort last week, with a career game, but I expect Todd Bowles in that defense to clamp up on Saquon, Goddard, and maybe Dotson if AJ Brown and Smith is not there. So I think it's going to be a tough day for Philly's offense. We saw them struggle a little bit last week against New Orleans. Now you got to go to Tampa, who's a pretty good defense as well. Without your possibly your 2 main targets, I think it's going to be tough, though. And I think Tampa in a bounce-back scenario, and I'm not going to say embarrassing loss still, but you were 7.5 point favorite. You're supposed to take care of business at home against a rookie quarterback in the Denver Broncos. So I think this is a perfect scenario for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to bounce back. And then let's not forget, people, who knocked them out last year in the playoffs. Bucks versus Eagles. Bucks took care of business at home. So
I love that line. I love it.
Bucks might be the dog of the week, +110 on the money line.
All right, let's go to the 4:00 window. Your New England Patriots on the road. Back-to-back road spots for the Patriots as well. They will head to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers. 49ers laying 10.5 with all those injuries. Good news, Debo has practiced. Probably won't play, but I guess you take the good with the bad because Christian McCaffrey did go to Germany, got a second opinion on his Achilles. They're saying he might be out a little longer than anticipated, but tough break for them. But, as long as he's 100% going into the playoffs, I think that's what their main concern is. Jordan Mason, he's good, but he's not Christian McCaffrey. Let's just call it what it is. But they're laying 10.5 at home against your Patriots, over under at 40.5. How are you playing this game? And do we see Drake May sometime in this game?
Dale, I'm gonna have to lean the under 40.5. I just don't see our offense putting up more than 10 points. Maybe we get to 13, and I think we let up 27. So I'm gonna say 49ers score around 24 to 27, and we get to around 10 points still. So I'm gonna lean the under. I think the total score will be around 37. I just don't see it with Jacoby last week. Though I lost a lot of faith. We
Yeah.
know who he is. We know what he is. You know, you gotta let the kid play. We saw our offense go nowhere fast last week, and we're gonna see a hungry. When I say hungry, hungry 49ers defense after giving up a game-winning field-going drive at LA last week, and then a tough loss the week prior to the Vikings. They lost 2 in a row. When the
Yeah.
last time we said the last year they lose a couple
Last
games
year,
in a row.
yeah, they did.
But this 49ers team lost 2 straight games. I think as a Patriots fan, I would be concerned. So I think
Yeah.
we might get blown out there, but I'm gonna say no to that. I think I'll go under 40.5.
Yeah, hopefully it isn't a blowout, but at least you are realistic, which I appreciate. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not
no play for me.
delusional. I'm not like
Yeah.
a Cowboys fan saying we're gonna win it. No.
No,
It
no,
is what it is.
no. Let's go to the next 4 o'clock game. Arizona Cardinals hosting the Washington Redskins. Cardinals laying 3.5 after Washington's big win on the road. Minus 178 on the money line, plus 150 for Jaden Daniels. They're the better team in my opinion. Yeah, Arizona might be home, but offensively, I trust Washington a little more in this spot. You see with the high total at 50.5. Can they make it 3 in a row?
Can they? Yes. Honestly, can they? Yes. I think Dan Quinn definitely deserves some credit. Jaden McDaniels so far. I think you had a bold statement a couple of days ago, Dale, but I'm gonna say he's definitely
What?
been playing. You forgot?
Not refresh me because it's on tape, but I'll probably stand by it. What did I say?
You said Jaden Daniels is better than Caleb Williams, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
just say
he is. He is.
He's been playing better than him. He's definitely been playing better throughout the first 3 weeks. Gotta give him credit on that. I think Kyler Murray's been playing at a high level, definitely at an MVP level. Gotta give him that. Marvis Harrison definitely showed up since week 2 on. Washington Commanders are alive, Dale. I'll give you that. I will lean the plus 3.5, but I'm gonna just stay away from that, people. I'm gonna take a player prop. Give me Zach Ertz over 28.5 yards. He's went over this number 2 straight weeks. We've seen Jalen Daniels. He trusts him when it's a 3rd down and long. He's gonna look for Zach Ertz. Even in week 1, Dale, he had 28 yards. And I think now he's becoming one of his favorite targets. He's gonna be reliable. What's the second best friend of a rookie quarterback deal, the tight end. It's the running game, and then it's the tight end deal. Zach Ertz over 28.5 yards. I think this number is a little too low.
Let's go out to Las Vegas. The Raiders hosting the Cleveland Browns. Short one on the books, kind of a pick 'em. Raiders short favorites at home, minus 130 on the money line, plus 110 for the Brownies. Over under is at 37.5. Okay, we've seen abysmal performances by Cleveland against New York, against Dallas. I mean, against Jacksonville. Even though they won, they just haven't been playing well. Las Vegas, it seems like this is a good bounce back spot for them, getting kind of embarrassed at home. Antonio Pierce called out his team, called out, they made some business decisions. So that's coming from a guy who played football. It seemed like a lot of guys were about to run this week. I think they're going to be focused, kid. I low-key like the Raiders here, man. I really do. What do you like?
Dill, give me the Raiders on the money line, minus 108. Like, you took the words out of my mouth, Dill. Antonio Pierce in the press conference said, we're going to make some business decisions. I guarantee every player on the field has to be standing on business, Dill. I tell you that. I'm gonna just say this quick stack though, and this is why I'm taking the Raiders on the money line. Let's just keep it short and sweet. Today, the New York Giants recorded 1 sack on the Dallas Cowboys. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Last week, the New York Giants recorded 8 sacks against the Cleveland Browns. If Max Crosby and that defense doesn't get at least, I'm gonna be nice, 5. Dill, I'm gonna say they get 5+ sacks against that offensive line. Deal. We seen Cleveland. That might be one of the worst offensive liners all in football. They cannot protect Deshaun Watson. Deal. If the New York Giants, the G-men, was able to get
Mhm.
8 sacks against that offensive line of Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns, though, I think this Las Vegas Raiders team is live for double digits.
I
Give me the
love it. Yeah,
Raiders
I think.
minus 108 on the money
Yeah.
line. Give me Max Crosby anytime sack. Give me Max
Oh.
Crosby maybe 2+ sacks. Now, I'm telling you, it might be a day. I'm gonna say it one more time, people. Sorry, I did say I was gonna be short and quick, though. But if the G-men got 8 sacks against this Cleveland Browns team last week, and like Antonio Pierce said in the press conference, we're gonna make business decisions. I think a business decision is 10+ sacks.
I also think Gardner Minshew's on a leash. Like he's not afraid of putting Aiden O'Connell in. We saw it last year as well. So
Shit, we
yeah, I
saw
would
it.
be
We saw a
worried
couple
about him.
weeks ago.
Exactly. So penultimate game, we will go out to the Chargers in LA. They are hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs laying 7 on the road, minus 375 on the money line. Chargers +7, +300 on the money line. Over under is at 39.5. Now, the look ahead line was 4. It's jumped up to 7 now. I don't know the status of Herbert. He doesn't look like he's going to play. I don't know why you would force. He has a very high ankle sprain right now. They're dealing with some offensive line injuries as well. I wouldn't play this kid. If anything, Carson Steele over 5.5 rush attempts. I feel like that is very small. I feel like they're going to lean on him a little more without Isaiah Pacheco. So I lean that. Maybe Rashid Rice ladder prop with his receiving yards. It looks like he's the only one that Patrick Mahomes kind of throws to this season so far. So might be a better teaser spot. We'll talk about that in a little. But yeah, I don't want. I like the Chargers, but I want nothing to do with them in this spot. They're hurt.
Yeah, if Justin Herbert is a goal in this game, deal, I'm not saying the Chargers are live, but I will definitely take the +7. But
Yeah.
it's looking like he's a no-go deal. If he's a no-go, is it Easton Stick, the quarterback still? The backup? Is it Easton Stick?
Yeah, it is Easton Stick.
If Easton Stick is making the starter is starting,
Or Tim Boyle. I think Tim Boyle's on the
I
roster
think
too.
all
Tim
right.
Boyle's been around.
All right, if it's Tim Boyle, okay. If it's
Yeah.
Easton Stick, lay the not the house. Let's be responsible. Take out nice little change. Chiefs -7. I'm letting you know right now, people. If Easton Stick is the starting quarterback come 4:25 Eastern, 1:25 Western, 2:25 Central, I'm telling you right now, people, put some money on the Chiefs -7.
Sunday Night Football, we were blessed. This is a great game at the bank. Oh, I wish I was there with the boys. Baltimore
Woo!
Ravens hosting the Buffalo Bills. Here come the Bills trying to go 4-0 in the month of September. Ravens 1-2. Big win against Dallas on the road. Coming back home now, -2.5. Ravens favorite at home, -130. +110 for Josh Allen and the Bills. Over under is at 46.5. Now, Josh Allen's been the best player in the league so far this season, in my opinion. No turnovers. Joe Brady, the designs that he's been able to mesh up so far has been impeccable. Run game's been good. Defense, even though they're banged up on defense has stepped up and played huge this season. Yeah, I really don't understand, kid. Maybe it's a good letdown spot, but what are you thinking here for Ravens Bills?
I definitely think there's gonna be glad it's a Sunday night game. They'll definitely marquee matchup of the weekend. Hopefully, it's a future playoff game as well. I think Josh Allen, this Buffalo team has been rolling. Dill, I definitely think Josh Allen right now definitely the league MVP. James Cook running the ball well. This wide receiver core, it's not great, but they've been performing. I think we're gonna see this Ravens team start looking like the Ravens team we saw last year. Though we saw in the first half last week in Dallas, and Derrick Henry had the ball rolling, Lamar doing his thing. This offense came to life. That defense, we know what this defense is capable of. Maybe not as good as what they were last year, but still pretty good defense. I'm gonna say top 10. I'm gonna say Josh Allen has his first, let's just say his first turnover, first, first game he looks a little bad. Still, I'm not gonna say bad, but he's gonna make some mistakes come Sunday. He's gonna force some balls. I think the Ravens force a turnover or two. I think they slow down James Cook in that offense, and I feel like that Ravens defense is gonna do what they do. Lamar and Derrick Henry dominate time and possession, and the Ravens, I'm not gonna say cruise, but they ease to a nice win. I'm gonna say they win by at least a touchdown. Deal. I'm gonna say
Oh,
27-20 Baltimore Ravens. Give me
our
Baltimore
f-
Ravens on the money line.
yeah, our friends at the DMV are gonna love that kid. Supporting the boys. Yeah, I lean them as well. Like I really do. I think this is a good spot for them. And I think they need to do what they did last year. I know they might not want to be that team that they were last week against Dallas, but that's who they really are. Let's be honest. Run the ball 30, 40 times. This is what Todd Monken needs to do, in my opinion. This is what they got away from in the AFC Championship, where they kind of wanted to be somewhere else. They need to look at this game against Dallas and be like, this is what we are. We're going to run the ball. Lamar, we need 12 to 15 passes per game. That's realistically the
We
only
need
thing they
12,
need.
12 to 15 completions. Really.
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it. And you could do that. You are good enough. You're a two-time league MVP. You're a top 5 quarterback in the league. You need to be able to do that. So yeah, I do like Baltimore here, kid. I would take him on the money line. I'm also gonna fade Zay Flowers. Now I like money, but it's also hurting my fantasy. But I'm gonna fade Zay Flowers here. His longest reception, 21 and a half yards. He hasn't cleared this all season. He was under this in 10 of 16 games last season. And the Bills, if you watch a lot of Bills game, they run a lot of too high safeties, and that doesn't allow for a lot of deep coverage or deep balls down the field. They've only allowed one receiver this season to clear this line and have a big yard. I think Zay Flowers doesn't get over 21 and a half. I think they're just going to run, and do a lot of slants. So, kid, that is going to do it for Sunday Night Football. We'll talk about the doubleheader on Sunday's episode. But real quick, back to that Thursday night, Malik Neighbors did suffer a concussion out the game to end the game, but hopefully it won't linger, because you and I have him on fantasy as well for one of our leagues as well.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. He gets like about 9 days off. Doesn't have to play till next Sunday. So hopefully, everything clears out and he's ready to go. To start a career, though, he definitely has a high volume, a little higher than I want to see. But I think the kid's built for it. It's definitely been something special to start his career. So hopefully it's nothing too serious and he bounces back and he's ready to go for week 5.
All right, let's do our lock, dog, and teaser. You were hinting about some dogs earlier. I'll start, so maybe give you some time to think. I'm going to start with my lock, and I'm going to go back to DeAndre Swift, his under 55 and a half rushing and receiving yards. I mean, this line is just too big, in my opinion. He's been under this in every game. Like I said, his snaps have been trending downward, 70%, 66, 53 as well. So I'm going to take his under 55 and a half rushing and receiving combo at minus 115. That's going to be my lock of the weekend. And as my dog, I did like a few dogs. I like Washington plus 150. I think they're live. I think the Rams are live as well. I think the Minnesota Vikings are live. I'm gonna take Washington. I just trust their offense a little more here. I think Jaden Daniels is the real deal. I agree. I'll stand on it. I think he's better right now and playing better than Caleb Williams right now. And I don't think that's a wild take. I think if anyone who's watched the NFL for 3 weeks would say the same thing. Defense worries me. I do think Arizona will be able to score on Washington, but in a shootout, I just trust Washington a little more. I know Austin Eckler is out of this game, but Brian Robinson Jr., I trust him just as much as Austin Eckler. So, yeah, I think that connection with Terry McLaurin as well is really starting to heat up. You mentioned with Zach Ertz, I like his prop as well. So I just trust Washington and Dan Quinn. I think they're starting to find their rhythm a little bit. So, yeah, my dog of the day is going to be Washington Redskins plus 150.
Dill, I like it. I like it, Dill. I'm gonna go with my lock, Dill. My lock of the weekend is gonna be Aaron Jones anytime touchdown or over 57 and a half rushing yards. Still, either one, I think he goes over both. And if you want to just do a play, Dill, I think Atlanta. I think Atlanta bounces back at home against this Saints team. Dill, this Atlanta defense has been for real, and we saw the Saints team struggle last week against a defense who finally woken up against against the Eagles. That defense finally woken up. Atlanta's defense is better than the Eagles' defense still. At home, I feel like Atlanta, that offense is going to be clicking a little better. It's going to be clicking a little better. So, feeling like Aaron Jones, don't get me wrong, I'm going to go with Atlanta lock of the weekend as well. And then my dog of the weekend, Dell was talking about it earlier. Didn't take him officially. Might take him officially come Sunday, but it's going to be the Tampa Bay Bucks still. I feel like last week losing to the Denver Broncos rookie quarterback, now you're back at home. The defense is going to be fire up. Baker Mayfield and the boys is going to be going. And like I said, if it's no Devontae Smith, I just feel like that offense is going to be forced to be one dimensional with Saquon Barkley and Dallas Goddard. Let's see who's going to be able to step up if Devontae Smith and AJ Brown is not there to go.
All right. And then lastly, our teaser. I put one together. I want to get your opinion. If you want to take one out, add one of your own. So I did Jets from 7.5 down to 1.5. I took Houston from 6.5 to just a half. And then I took Kansas City from 7 down to 1. Do you like that?
I like that, Dill. To play it safe, Dill, I'll say eliminate Houston.
You think Jackson's okay? Okay. What do you want to add then?
Because I have Houston in one. So just in case.
Okay.
Just in case.
What's another team you like? Because I'll spit one out and you give me what you think. I was even thinking teasing Minnesota up to +9. But I don't know. I think they're live too, kid.
Dill, I was saying tease up Tampa. Tampa, if you get Tampa to +7.5, they're not losing by a touchdown. I think they're live. I don't think Tampa loses by a touchdown, Dill. So I don't get me wrong, I do like that teaser just because I have Houston in with the Jets, and I think with Kansas City is perfect, Dill. So I'll say stick with that. I say that's will be our 3-way teasers because I do agree with it. I just saying Tampa's not losing by a touchdown.
I think either one is good, honestly. Getting Houston down to a half or teasing Tampa up to 7.5, because even if they lose, I don't think they're going to lose by more than a touchdown. They are riddled with injuries right now, Philadelphia. So, yeah, that's a good one either way. So, either which way you want to do, Houston, Jets, Chiefs, or Jets, Chiefs, Buccaneers, regardless of what you want to do, they're both 3-leg 6-point teasers at +140. I like both, kids. So, yeah. Good luck. I mean, I started 0-2 week 4. We need a strong week here for week 4. And like I said, double header on Monday night as well with who's playing Tennessee and Miami, and then Seattle and Detroit. So at least we get one good game, kid. Let's go over to the Diamond. I want to start with this, and the Oakland Athletics last game at the Coliseum tonight or Thursday afternoon. It was a shame, to be honest. They were killed with greed, I would say. I don't think we should allow people responsibility to kind of spin this another way. John Fisher, owner of the Oakland Athletics, he didn't have to move this team. Major League Baseball and its owners, they didn't have to complicate and they didn't have to stick their nose in it as well. This was a choice. He wanted to move the team to Vegas. Don't let people spin it the other way. I think it was a wrong one. I think the difference here with the Oakland Athletics 40, 50, it's generations. It's grandpas and fathers and their kids, everyone going and yeah, they weren't good, but people died with this stadium, and it's a travesty that they're just going and just attracting people like tourists. They're not real fans, in my opinion. So it's a shame. They're the people of Oakland in the Bay Area. They're getting their team ripped away from them, and I think it's disgraceful. If I'm being truly com- comprehensive or whatever the word I wanted to use, but it's a shame that they're leaving. Any thoughts on that before we get into our plays?
Dale, realistically, I'm a businessman, Dale. So I'm not gonna, be upset at the man for making I think it's the proper business decision. But one thing I can honestly say is, from the city of Oakland, the people have some fault in this. One, the town is going to shit. Let's just be real. Two, you wasn't showing up to the games. It's one thing if the stadium. I'm not saying it's to be a sold out crowd every night, but I'm gonna needs to see 60% of the field. At least 60%, 50% night in night out. He wasn't even getting that. How many times we said there was less than 10,000 fans in the arena, in the stadium? That's just not right, Dill. So we seen the Warriors move after winning championships. We've seen the Raiders move after so many years. Still, all I'm saying is I think the Athletics had a great run in Oakland. It is what it is. It sucks if you're an Oakland Athletics fan, Dill. But I see why he did it.
I'll say this just because I don't agree. The Red Sox were eliminated the last couple of days, so they won't be making the postseason. Thoughts on that? They did make it to the last week of contention. I'll say that.
Yeah, Dill, it is what it is. My
They
over
did go over
win,
the win total.
that's all that matters still. Over 72 and a half wins. Locked it
Yep.
in early. That's all that matters still. So let's kick it off right there. I only have one play for tomorrow, and that's my Boston Red Sox. Tampa Bay taking on the Boston Red Sox. You got Bradley on the mound for Tampa. You got my boy Pavetta on the mound for the Red Sox. Like I said, over under sitting at 8.5. Give me the Boston Red Sox on the money line minus 135. I'm gonna say this because it's possibly the last time I'm gonna say it. Give me the Red Sox on the money line.
Yeah, it's the last weekend. By the way, they're fucking the Mets again with the playing a doubleheader on Monday. That's neither here or there.
Y'all
But
got the Brewers this weekend too
I
now.
know. So it's let's go to that game because that's where I'm gonna take my first play. Frankie Montas and the Brewers hosting Sean Manaea and the Mets. Mets minus 116, favorite minus 102, short dogs for the Brewers over under 7.5. Kid, I'm gonna take the Mets here. The Brewers, they're already locked up the division, but they're still winning games. So like you said, you can't take this team lightly. Getting Lindor back for this series will help. I just think Sean Manaea is the better pitcher. He pitches better on the road in general. And Frankie Montas just got rocked in his last start, naming last 3 innings. He's given up 3+ runs in 5 of his last 6 starts. Mets hit on the well. They just got 2 days off. Their bullpen is fresh. Getting Lindor back is a big help to our lineup. So in a must-win situation, I got to take the Mets here, kid. Minus 116. I do think this is a good spot for them. And that's all I really like, kid. A lot of teams have been eliminated, so really didn't want to touch on. I'm kind of picking and choosing my spots here for the Diamond, but when playoff baseball is locked in, we will have much more plays. Let's go to the WNBA, kid. All sweep. We saw 4 sweeps in the first round. No one was able to win a game. We're on to the semifinals. It starts on Sunday. 2 games on the slate. Liberty, short favorites at home. Minnesota's also a short favorite at home versus the Suns. Hopefully we don't see sweeps this round, kid.
Nah, I doubt it, Dill. For game 1, Dill, Las Vegas versus Liberty. I'm gonna take the +4 with the Aces, Dill. This is a finals rematch from last year. Don't get me wrong, New York Liberty definitely has been the better team this season. So I understand why they're minus the 4, Dill. But I think come game one, we're gonna see the MVP be the MVP. We're gonna see that team perform at a high level. We're gonna see the aces that we saw a couple years in a row now. Till, like you said, I think they're live for the three-peat. Give me the +4 on the road with the aces. I think definitely gonna be a tough series still, but I think the aces are live. And then Connecticut with Minnesota, though. This one's a tough one. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I think Connecticut's been playing a little better, but Minnesota just finds way to win games. So this is another one. I do think Minnesota would advance and win the series, but I wouldn't be shocked if Connecticut is like a close game each game. So I'll lean the +4.5. I'm more confident with the Aces than I am the Suns.
All right, kid. Thank you so much. This was great. Great episode. We gave you guys a lot. College football week 5, week 4 NFL plays. Gave you some WNBA plays and some diamond plays. Last words before we get up out of here, kid. What are you doing this weekend?
Just hanging out, not doing much, just gonna relax still. Got a lot of things planned for next month, so just gonna cruise to the end of this month. And it was a late one, Dill. Happy Friday to everyone.
Yeah.
First late show in a while. Little tired, but I'm glad I was able to do it with you guys.
Yeah, shout out all 28 guys or girls listening to us right now, going into the wee hours of the night. Ladies and gents, exactly. But kid, thank you so much. Good luck. God bless. Yes.